So here we go again with liberals. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me how liberals ever get anything accomplished ever in their lives. And I talked about it in the last video. Another poll came out that the most unhappy group of people in America are middle-aged liberal women, and it makes sense because they spend all their time fighting, whining, and complaining. You know, whenever you see somebody, doing a pro-life, demonstration or whatever, who's the ones that are over there fighting, spitting on them, throwing things at them? Middle-aged liberal women. All the time. Whenever you see something that the Democrats just absolutely hate, even though it's better for America, and you see the big protest, who are the ones standing out there protesting? Middle-aged liberal white women. The most unhappy group in the world. And I have to say, if you spend every day of your life pissed off, looking for a reason to be pissed off, how do you ever expect to be happy? So that brings me to this next part here of the Maryland man. All right. This guy is exactly where he should be. Exactly where he should be, in his home country. Because his home country is not the United States. Now, before I get into this too far, I want you to watch this to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about here.
California Congressman Darrell Issa. Congressman, thanks for joining us. Happy Easter to you on this Easter Sunday.
Happy Easter.
How much time do you think it's going to take for the Supreme Court to really begin to rule on the merits and sort of clear up what the administration can and can't do here?
Well, I think it's complex because there was some question about whether he should have been deported based on how he was deported, but there's no question that he had due process repeatedly. So one of the questions that's bigger, that's going to be decided partially here and partially in later court rulings is how many retries, how many opportunities do people get to depart, and particularly the millions who were falsely given this unique status by the previous administration. If the previous administration could say to millions of people, carte blanche, come here and we'll let you in and we'll parole you and we'll give you work permits, then does this president have those rights, or does he have to go through a protracted process, which basically hampers the ability to get rid of those millions who were brought in without a process? So the court's got several big decisions. This is a relatively small one, all facts considered, because this man is where he belongs based on his citizenship and based on previous due process. Over 17 judges he was in front of.
Over 17 judges this guy was in front of. How many judges have I been in front of in my life? Oh, yeah, that would be zero. That would be zero. And I love it when the liberals love to argue, well, if this happened to him, it can happen to you. Well, let's think about that for a second. Let's see. I was born in America. My whole family was born in America, and my parents' parents were all born in America. And before that, we came from Scotland, but we came here legally. All right. So let's shelve that one for a minute. I've been in front of a judge 0 times, not 17. Okay. So we have that. I don't have any known ties to MS-13 at all. I don't even know somebody who's in MS-13. I have not been accused of beating my wife, and I haven't had any type of a court order or injunction put against me for beating my wife. So the chances of this happening to me, what's happening to the Maryland man, are 0. Absolutely 0. Never going to happen. And before you liberals come in here and say, well, blah, 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 and it could happen to you, and you start whining, I will literally put a video up every day until the day I die, which hopefully is not until I'm 90 years old. And all the video is going to say, still here. And I guarantee you, until the day that hopefully I die at 90, every day, guess what? I won't be deported. Still be right here. See, because I have something on my side. I'm not a criminal. I'm not an illegal alien. So I have that going for me right out of the gate. And the beauty of it is every day when I wake up, that's something I don't have to worry about. Gee, am I going to get deported today? That's something I never have to worry about. Ever. Never even crosses my mind. So the chances of it happening to me are 0. Less than 0. Which by the name was what I was going to name my band originally. My band is called Trainwreck. I was going to name it Less Than 0 because I just think that's a cool name. Less Than 0. But enough of that. So the liberals are just losing their mind about the Maryland man. And you had their dimwit senator go down there for a photo op. That's all it was, on the taxpayer's dime, of course. He's a liberal. You don't think he's going to pay for it himself, do you? I mean, that's unheard of. That is unheard of. Why should he pay for something to prove his point for his photo op for his 15 minutes when the people of Maryland will gladly pay for it for him? Instead of taking that money and putting it, I don't know, into schools, things like that. I don't know. Getting homeless off the streets, vets off the streets. No, let's pay for this clown to go down there and look like a complete dork. Yeah, that's a better idea. Way to go, Maryland. Good job. Good job. But now, Donald Trump is trying to, just like he said, all these people came over here without a process. As soon as they crossed our border, they became an illegal. Right there. They broke the law. That is undisputed, uncontrovertible. They broke the law as soon as they crossed our border without a process. So why should we have to go through a process to get these people back out of the country? This makes no sense to me at all. Makes no sense at all. So Joe Biden lets them in freely, criminals, drug addicts, rapists, murderers, it don't matter. He lets them in. And now Trump has to send them all through a court system to get them back out? Are you kidding me? This is the most asinine, idiotic, stupid thing. I don't know if it's the dumbest thing I've heard from a liberal, but it's pretty damn far up there. It is pretty damn far out up there. Why should we spend hundreds of millions of dollars in tying up our court systems to get people out of the country that should not be here to begin with? One of you liberals out there, please tell me how that makes sense. Please tell me. And I don't want to hear the Constitution, due process. I don't want to hear that. There was no process for them to come in. Why should there be a process for them going out? Why is that? Why do we have to do it your way instead of, well, what I consider the right way? Why do we have to take a known MS-13 criminal who came here legally and put him in front of a judge to get rid of him? Why do we have to do that? Because I cannot figure that one out. Let me read this for you. Let's see here. And before, let me read this headline for you real quick here. Deported without seeing a judge. One of the worst parts of the immigration system. Now, before I go any further, who do you think I'm talking about? I bet you're out there thinking, oh, that's Donald Trump. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Oh, bone spurs. I bet that's what you're thinking. So let me go ahead and read here. Barack Obama wanted to be the president who signed immigration reform into law. Instead, 6 years into his presidency, he finds himself under attack from some of his would-be allies, liberals, in the immigrant rights community. They call him the deporter-in-chief, a reference primarily to the 2 million deportations that have already taken place during his presidency. All right. Now, during the term of his presidency, he deported 3 million people. You know how many of those people went in front of a judge? Yeah, that would be none. None. Now, you had a couple of these clowns, these liberal clowns on here. Deporter-in-chief. You know, threw a little fit, you know, said a few bad things about him. Had a hissy fit here and there. Sure, I'm sure they went on, you know, like MSNBC. I mean, who the hell watches that? They got, what, 200 people now that watch MSNBC? I'm sure they went on there and you know, pleaded their case in front of their incredibly small audience. But the most I remember is I didn't see, you know, a panel, a bench full of judges stepping up and blocking orders, getting rid of illegals, of people who should not be here to begin with. But now all of a sudden, Donald Trump is doing the very thing Barack Obama did. And the liberals are out judge shopping like crazy, trying to find these judges to stop Trump's agenda. Well, here's something that the idiot Democrats and the more than idiot liberals simply don't understand. Donald Trump literally won the election on this very topic, getting rid of the illegals. That's why I voted for him. All right? And not only did he win the presidency, he won the Senate and the House and all the swing states for this reason. All the states they said, they swore up and down Drinks on the House Harris was going to win the swing states and put her into the presidency. How did that turn out? And please leave me an answer in the comment section. How did that turn out for you? Because my recollection It turned out pretty damn bad. You dipshits lost everything. And why did you lose everything? Because people were sick and tired of the illegals and the southern border. And you all are so stupid. Democrats are so stupid. And liberals even stupider. This is the hill you all stand to die on, amongst the many other hills you're standing on to die on. This is unbelievable to me. Your approval rating is 25%, a record all-time historic low. What, is that too high? Are you all going for 20%? Because at the rate you're going by the end of Donald Trump's presidency, you're going to be minus 14. This is how ignorant Democrats are. And that may sound harsh, but it's true. Democrats are ignorant. Absolutely mind-numbingly stupid. You're fighting to keep illegals here, and a lot of them are criminals, murderers, rapists, pedophiles, and you're fighting to keep them here. And I just cannot wrap my brain around this. Let me read a little more here for you. But advocates are upset about more than just the sheer number of deportations. And right there, instead of but advocates, it should say but unhinged liberals. But unhinged liberals are upset about more than the sheer number of deportations. They are also unhappy with the way these deportations are taking place. In most cases, the government doesn't provide immigrants with due process before returning them. Did you hear that? This is what your God Obama was doing. So why all of a sudden is it an issue that Trump is doing it? He hasn't sent back as many people as Obama has, and now all of a sudden, Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Orange Man breaking the law. Breaking the law. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my life. Absolutely stupid. So let's be honest. Let's be honest about this whole thing. A, you want your illegals here. You need your illegals here, because that inflates your numbers. All right? You don't give a shit about Americans. You care nothing about Americans. We saw that when Donald Trump was bringing up the parents of people whose children had gotten killed by illegals, and not one Democrat stood up and applauded for them about what happened to them. Not one. Because Democrats care more about illegals than they do Americans. Why? Why in the hell would any group want a bunch of illegal criminals here illegally? Why? And now, all of a sudden, why are we fighting to stop the one man who's trying to clean it up, which is what he won the presidency on? Why are you all fighting to stop him from doing it? And I don't want to hear due process and constitutional rights. They can get their due process and their constitutional rights from their country of origin, which is not the United States. The Maryland man, he's right where he belongs. You all are idiots. Complete idiots. He's where he belongs. All right? Well, if it can happen to him, it can happen to you. No, it cannot. It will not. Like I said, until the day I'm 90, I'll put up a video every day, still here. Donald Trump hasn't deported me yet, so I'm not going to get deported. And you're an idiot for saying something that stupid. And it's not only you liberals. I mean, hell, they're saying it on the news channels, on CNN, on MSNBC. Well, if it can happen to him, it can happen to you. No, it cannot. It absolutely cannot happen to me. I have none of the qualifying factors to be deported. None. Zero. Zip, zilch, nada, niet, none, nine. I'm not going to get deported. So quit saying that, because you look like a fool. You look like a complete fool when you say that. But this guy's right where he needs to be, and all of a sudden, now that Donald Trump is doing the very thing that Barack Obama did, now all of a sudden the liberals are getting every judge they can buy to get up and stop Trump from doing this very thing, the very thing he won the presidency on. Liberals, please keep going down this road. Like Senator Kennedy said, Operation Let Them Talk. I think that's the best plan I've heard from the Republican side in years. Just let the Democrats talk. Let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. And it's not, but the problem is not just solely down to the Democrats, because here's the Democrats, okay? Here's the Democrats. All right. Here's the liberals. Well, I should do it. If you could see the volume of the hands, then I would do this. Here's the Democrats. All right. This is how many y'all have right here in this little bitty hole right here. That's you all. Because your whole party's been hijacked by unhinged liberals. Here's the liberals. All right. So if here's center, and you have the Democrats, because most regular Democrats are pretty moderate, but then you have the bulk of the Democrat Party. Okay. You watching? See where it's going? Follow. See where it's going? Yeah, still going. Yep. Yeah. All the way over there. All the way over here. All right. This is the liberal party. Okay. The left-wing nut job fringe liberal party. They're so far left, the Democrats can't even see them anymore. But the problem is the Liberal Party has hijacked the Democrat Party, so now the Democrats are so weak, they're now falling in line with the Liberal Party, as Joe Biden did. And these are the nut jobs who are trying to keep the illegals here. And I can't figure it out for the life of me. And I'm pretty sure that one of you unhinged, smooth brain, 2 synapse left up there firing liberals are going to come on here and try to explain our Constitution and due process to me, when chances are you don't even know what you're talking about. Because if you're an illegal with no citizenship here, exactly how does our Constitution cover you? So explain this to me. If you're an illegal on the other side of the border at 1 p.m. and at 1:05 you cross into America, all of a sudden you get the safety of our Constitution, of our government, of our court system. At 1 o'clock, you were an illegal. You were a criminal sitting in Mexico. At 1:05, you make it across the border. Now you're not only a criminal, now you're an illegal criminal in America. And our Constitution is supposed to protect you? But explain that to me. How we go from him being just a criminal at 1 o'clock to becoming an illegal criminal at 1:05 in the United States. And then our court system, our Constitution, all of a sudden he has all the comforts, all the protections of the United States. Well, I'm sorry. I don't buy that. I don't subscribe to that idea. I don't subscribe to that at all. They came over here through no process. They came over here illegally. We send them out with no process. The Maryland man, he's where he belongs. Leave him there. Let him rot. I do not care. And wasn't it Maryland? Aren't they letting a murderer out of his prison sentence 6 years early? I believe it's in Maryland. Is that going to be Maryland man number 2? When finally they come up and they stop it from happening? All of a sudden, are all the liberals going to go fight for him and say, you know what? Due process, it's against his rights, the Constitution. He should get out 6 years early for committing murder. He should have gotten a life sentence, if not the death penalty for what he did. But mark my words, every liberal in Maryland will start fighting for this guy to get out 6 years early so he can commit more crime and more murders 6 years earlier than he would have had they kept him his entire sentence. Because that's what's going to happen. Because that's how unhinged and untwisted and how divided America has become because of people like Joe Biden and Drinks on the House Harris. All right? The liberal uprise started heavily under Barack Obama. I remember it like the day was yesterday. All right? Under Bill Clinton, I knew a lot of Democrats under Bill Clinton, and most of them were moderates. You always have the left-wing nut jobs, and you have them on the conservative side too. You have those right-wing fruit bags that are sitting out there, I don't know, trying to blow something up. Hell, who knows? But most Democrats were moderates under Bill Clinton. Then comes Barack Obama. Liberalism shot through the roof. I've never seen that kind of climb in a number as I did under liberals under Barack Obama. All of a sudden now they had a voice. The liberals had a voice under Barack Obama. And shockingly, amazingly, and unfortunately, somehow that voice turned into power. So now you have these fruitcakes like AOC and Bernie Sanders, and talk about two ends of the spectrum. Oh my God. You know, AOC's out there championing for a younger, more in touch, more vibrant, excuse me, Congress, but she's doing the same exact thing, riding around with a 400-year-old socialist, Bernie Sanders. I mean, these two people are nut jobs. And if this is the new face of the Democrat Party, I'm for it. I hope AOC runs for presidency in 28. That's going to be hilarious. Watching that brain-dead moron bartender go up there and try to describe policy when literally the district she represents is one of the worst districts in New York. Look it up. Read the statistics about the drugs and the prostitution in AOC's district. And this is who you all are going to put up for president, and I guarantee you will. Her and greasy Gavin Newsom, the man who single-handedly broke California. Those are your best options. Good luck with that. Because you won't put up Shapiro because he's a Jew. You can't have a Jewish person running for president. Not on the Democrat ticket. There's no way. There's no way. We hate them damn Jews. We hate them. We can't put him up. We can't put him up. We got to bury him, which is what will happen. Shapiro will be buried by the time the presidential election comes around. Mark my words.